Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos entertain the audience of their talk show with banter before the celebrity guests come out for interviews. During one recent episode, Kelly brought up the results of a survey of memorable summer sensations. One of the survey responses was the sensation of the smell of the human body in the hotter months. The response caused Kelly Ripa to go off on a tangent about a gross interaction with a stinky stranger. Live hosts call out disruptive studio audience member. Live with Kelly and Mark recently moved into a massive new studio. Lucky fans of the show are still able to get tickets to be in the live studio audience. While the cameras are trained on the hosts most of the time, sometimes the studio audience catches Mark and Kelly's eyes. As New Yorkers, Kelly and Mark agreed with a recent poll that called the city one of the most walkable cities in the U.S. Some of the other cities on the list included Philadelphia, Burlington, and Columbus, Ohio. Mark Consuelos scoffed at the idea of Columbus, Ohio, being walkable. Really? Really? You know what I think is a nice, walkable city? Ann Arbor, not Columbus, Ohio, he said. Apparently, one member of the studio audience hailed from Columbus and didn't take the slander lightly. Kelly Ripa interrupted her husband to call the woman out. Did you just give us the thumbs down, lady? What are you, from Ohio? Kelly Ripa let the gesture go and finished the segment by saying no one ever walks in LA despite it being one of the most walkable cities. Kelly Ripa offended by stinky stranger. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos enjoy traveling, whether solo trips or with their 3 adult children, Michael, 28, Lola, 24, and Joaquin, 22. But one vacation left a bad taste in Kelly Ripa's mouth, or should we say a bad smell in her nose. During the talk about unforgettable summer sensations, she told a story about a close encounter she had with a smelly stranger on a train. She revealed that the train was packed, so she ended up standing and leaning against a pole. She recounted how a stranger aggressively shoved his armpit into her face. Boy, I got armpitted, didn't I? She said about the situation. Luckily, the daytime talk show host was rescued by another woman on the train who invited her to come stand by her and her children. Kelly Ripa called the armpit encounter an act of war. Her husband recounted similar experiences when he was younger. As I got older, I got to be armpit height on the buses and on the trains, he said. He added, yeah, it's an experience. It's a summer sensation. Kelly Ripa, queen of morning television and longtime co-host of Live, had what she now calls a traumatic olfactory event this past Tuesday afternoon in Manhattan, and she's not keeping it to herself. The day started like any other for Kelly: sleek blowout, oversized sunglasses, and a green juice in hand as she stepped out of her Upper East Side apartment. She was headed downtown for a pre-production meeting for Live with Kelly and Mark. But the smooth ride took a sudden detour when she encountered what she later dubbed the Manhattan Musk Man on the subway platform. I don't normally ride the subway, Kelly confessed on Wednesday morning's broadcast, her nose wrinkled in remembered discomfort. But I was feeling, I don't know, adventurous? Environmentally conscious. Punished by the universe? Mark Consuelos, her ever-supportive co-host and husband, leaned forward, clearly already aware of the story. You told me last night, but I didn't realize it was that bad. Oh, it was worse, Mark, Kelly said, placing a dramatic hand on her chest. Worse than childbirth. Worse than a juice cleanse. Worse than last week's guests ghosting us last minute. That kind of worse. As Kelly described it, the moment of olfactory offense was swift and all-consuming. She had been standing quietly on the platform at 59th Street, trying not to make eye contact with anyone, as per the unwritten NYC law. When she suddenly felt the presence of someone behind her. Not heard. Felt. I got a whiff of something so pungent, so unholy, I genuinely thought I was standing over a dead animal, she said. But no, it was a man. A human man. And he was sweating onions, sadness, and regret. The audience erupted in laughter, but Kelly pressed on, clearly still rattled. He had no shame, she added. None. He raised his arm at one point and I nearly passed out. It was like I had inhaled a cloud of ghostly despair. Eau de desperation. According to witnesses, yes, the story had already made its way to Reddit by Tuesday night. The man was wearing what could best be described as a melted trench coat and carried a tote bag that may once have been beige. One post claimed the man smelled like a combination of fermented gym socks and wet dog, and maybe something worse. I don't want to shame anyone, Kelly said carefully during the live segment. I understand things happen. People fall on hard times. But there was something willful about this. Like he had chosen to go to war with deodorant and humanity itself. Mark tried to lighten the moment. You're telling me the Upper East Side Uber Queen was slumming it on the subway and got ambushed by New York's smelliest? Yes, Kelly said, eyes wide. And I didn't even get hazard pay. As fans of Kelly know, she's never shy about sharing TMI or indulging in a dramatic retelling. But this story quickly went viral, with hashtag StinkyStringer trending by mid-morning. Social media users flooded X, formerly Twitter, with their own stinky stranger stories, creating a trending topic out of shared public transit trauma. Kelly Ripa just voiced the experience every New Yorker has had at least once, wrote one user. We all know that smell. Another chimed in, justice for Kelly. Public transportation needs an emergency air freshening task force. Febreze Patrol, where you at? But not everyone saw the humor. A few critics accused the host of socioeconomic snobbery, suggesting her comments were tone-deaf. To that, Kelly offered a response later in the broadcast. Look, I get it. Not everyone can afford an Uber. That includes me now. Because my Uber rating dropped drastically after my driver caught me doing an impression of the man's scent in the backseat. He thought I was insulting him. It was a disaster. She continued with a more serious tone. I really do feel for people who are struggling, but it doesn't make the experience any less shocking. You can have empathy and be appalled by something. The incident did have a silver lining. It inspired live producers to pitch an impromptu segment for Friday's episode, titled Sensational Survival: How to Navigate Public Odor Crises, with hygiene experts and aromatherapists. One intern was reportedly dispatched to Times Square with a giant smellometer and a bottle of lavender mist to survey tourists and commuters alike. Meanwhile, other celebrities have begun sharing their own tales of olfactory woe. Andy Cohen posted on his Instagram stories, Kelly's not alone. Once had to abandon a city bike because of a man who smelled like sour milk and conspiracy theories. Sarah Jessica Parker reportedly reached out to Kelly personally with the text, Girl, been there. You need a subway survival kit. I'll have one sent. Despite the chaos, Kelly maintained her signature charm and composure. Well, mostly. Do you know how hard it is to look chic while gagging into your designer scarf? She asked. It's impossible. Hermes is not meant to filter toxins. By Thursday, Kelly was back to her usual bubbly self, even teasing a potential fragrance line on Instagram called Stink No More by KR, with a mock ad showing her spraying herself while clutching a gas mask. But one burning question remains: who was the mystery man? A few grainy photos taken by subway riders show a tall figure with unkempt hair, headphones, and a disheveled vibe. No one has yet claimed to be the infamous Stinky Stranger, and Kelly hopes it stays that way. I don't want to know who he was, she said, because if I ever see him again, I fear I'll be transported back to the moment. It was like a nasal Vietnam. Whether the incident leads to lasting change in subway etiquette, or just a few more people investing in travel-sized deodorant, only time will tell. But if anyone can turn a traumatic scent encounter into TV gold, it's Kelly Ripa. As she wrapped the segment, Kelly leaned into the camera and issued a gentle plea to her fellow New Yorkers. Look, it's hot. We're all sweating. But for the love of Chanel No. 5 and all things sacred, please do a sniff check before you leave the house. Mic dropped. Perfume sprayed, and another unforgettable chapter added to Kelly Ripa's never-dull NYC chronicles.